generations. And now, the power of two restores the one.
We got a bidet. Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. In today's video, we are talking about episode 5 from the Skeleton Crew. We are on 5 out of 8, so we are past the halfway point, heading towards the finale within the next couple of weeks. I'm excited to see where we go, but today we are here to talk to you about what happened in episode 5. Um, so, for all the other episodes, we've been pretty consistent with liking each of the episodes. Is that still here? Did you guys like episode 5?
I feel like episode 4 was a little more boring. It wasn't my favorite, really, but episode 5, we really picked it up a notch.
Yeah, I liked episode 5 a lot. I think the pacing was very good, and they started mm, bringing our I don't know, it's not really a plot with the parents, but like our B plot, our C plot, we're starting to like worry about. Okay, the pirates are getting a bounty going. The parents are trying to get a message out, which could get intercepted by the pirates, and maybe that's why they show up.
Yeah.
So things are definitely they're moving along.
Yeah, and we're getting some more uh at least the plot line that I think is pretty interesting is the whole Jedi stuff with Jod, and even behind Sarah, we see probably the pinnacle funny moment of the episode with Wim igniting a lightsaber the wrong way and scaring the crap out of himself. Um, I'm enjoying that plot line and kind of seeing where it goes, especially with who we're echoing in this episode. But let's see, we kick off the episode and it's with the parents again, so we're kind of getting this same formula as the last couple episodes where, we're wondering what's happening with the parents. We are told right away. We find out maybe 3 or 4 minutes worth of story with them, and then we get back to the kids, and that's the rest of the episode. So they kind of have decided how they're going to handle this whole parent situation. It makes me wonder, are they going to get a bigger role towards the end, or is it going to be constantly just only a couple minutes? I could see that with 6 and 7, but maybe 8 is when they come together, especially if our characters end up back on at Atten. But we see Wim's dad. He's frantically going through his computer, and he is eventually going to meet up with Neil's mom. I believe it's his mom. And they basically need to find out how to get clearance, to either get off the planet or for someone to come back. And so that's what Wim's dad is up to. He is trying to get these codes. He's trying to put it on this humongous looking flash drive. And then he gets spotted by one of the supervisor security droids that are monitoring this area of the wing. And so, Sarah, do you remember what the little funny business that he tries to pull, but the droid gets him anyways?
Well, he asks him, like, "Hey, what are you hiding behind your back?" And so he shows one hand, right? While the other thing's he's still holding the flash drive behind his back with the other hand. Well, let me see both your hands. And so of course he gets caught. But as he got up from the computer area, I don't know why he didn't just slip it in his pocket right then and there. Like, I don't know. I feel like he could have hid that a little better.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
wondering
he doesn't have
when,
the tactics.
right. I was wondering when he was gonna be asked for his 2 hands, I was like, oh no, is he gonna kind of keister this thing and hold it back there? But I was like, no, this is Star Wars, especially geared towards children. I don't think they were gonna do that. But if he had like some sort of belt clip or something back there that he could have attached it to, that could have helped him out. But
Yeah.
so yeah, he gets in trouble, and then the person that the droid reports to is Fern's mom. And so she basically tells the droid to forget about it and power down, and she takes care of what's going on. Um, I didn't really catch whether she is trying to. Do you think she's in on it and she's trying to get the codes, or do
I
you
think
think?
she's very much on their side, but she kind of reprimanded him a bit because he was supposed to wait until like nightfall or something to be a little less conspicuous.
Gotcha. And then that's about it with the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing what they can.
They mentioned that the
Um,
supervisor's not going to help at all.
right. So that's fishy, but they're taking matters into their own hands. We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, in the next 2 to 3 minutes, and then beginning of next episode.
Yeah, probably.
So then we got the kids. They are trying to, unlock more of SM-33's memory, and they eventually do. And it's kind of funny because he's tied up with ropes and stuff. And eventually, when they're ready to talk to him more, he like just sits up and rips all the ropes like they meant nothing. Um,
I like
But
that.
during this conversation that they're having with SM-33, and Sarah made me pause and rewind this a couple of times because we just kept missing it. Um, what was significant, at least what we think is significant from this conversation?
So, the original captain of this ship, his crew was trying to undermine him. And so the big lesson is never trust your crew when you're the captain because they're always going to try and one up you. And we found out that essentially the captain's lover, friend, whoever, significant other, betrayed him and stabbed him. And so, as revenge, he chartered the ship to crash land into At Aden. So essentially, if I'm going down, all of you are going down too. And the other piece of information that we get from this conversation is where the captain's, I'm gonna say like headquarters or secret hidden lair, like what planet that's on. And so that's where we're going next because that's where the coordinates for At Aden could potentially be stored at.
So a couple of things with that. The reason why we know it was the captain's significant other, because it's actually highlighted quite a bit from the kid's point of view. SM-33 refers to the captain's concubine, and the kids go, "Well, what's a concubine?" And then Jod says, "Well, never mind that," kind of a thing. And so I didn't know what that was, so I had to look it up. And that's how we find out that it's a significant other that you're not married to, basically. And so it was probably the captain's uh, girlfriend that they're just not legally married to, but betrayed
Which I mean, they're
nonetheless.
they're pirates, so why would they be married, you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know the semantics of the relationship. We don't have to get too into it. I mean, it's probably a pirates, right? So I can't imagine they got the best treatment, but who knows? I don't want to speak on it, but
I feel like there was another thing that was worth mentioning from that conversation, but I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I was just from our we rewatch, I was trying to really pay attention to this story and see how much of it was foreshadowing what was yet to come in the rest of the episode.
Gotcha. I did remember what I was going to say. So you had mentioned that I'm going to offer an alternative perspective of what happened with the ship. Is that you had mentioned that the captain had said that there was mutiny on the ship, and the captain was going to take them down if he was going to go down, like they're going to go down with him. Um,
Right?
the alternative that I remember about pirates in general is the captain goes down with the ship. And so if the ship, like for instance, let's say that there was an escape pod on his ship that he could have launched and got off of his ship while the ship was going down to the planet. Um, I don't think he would do that because of the pirate code of you go down with the ship, which
Right.
makes me wonder, is the captain somewhere on at Atten? Is that skeleton that was on the ship, is that the captain? I don't know. But it does make me wonder if he is somewhere on at Atten, whether he's alive or not.
Well, we haven't seen the supervisor yet.
This is true.
That's probably Hondo. Really
That would be
old
very funny.
Hondo. Yeah. Um. Oh, the pirate. We also find out the name of the ship, the Onyx Cinder, and the name of the pirate captain. I don't know his name, but Jod did know his name, which was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was familiar with him.
I don't remember the name in particular
He
either,
was an infamous pirate captain.
I'll try to look it up while you guys keep going.
which is kind of funny because when we're following our characters, Jod and the children, they eventually go to a planet, and it's not at Aten, but it's a place where supposedly this famous pirate had kind of his vault of treasures. Um, when we
Tack?
eventually, what's
It's
that?
Tack Renad.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm
Tackrenard.
butchering how you say that, but Tack Renad.
All right. When they're heading towards this planet, they are, stopped by security just so they can get some clearance. Children are not allowed on this planet because it's basically a 21 and older, or 18 and older, I should say, because even some casinos around here are 18 and over. But it's basically an adult-only place. That doesn't mean that it's like, you know, sexual stuff galore. It just means that, hey, no kids are allowed here. And
Yeah, it's
so,
it's more of like a spa retreatment type center, although I do think it's funny when she's giving them a tour, she mentions that they have a sensory playground, which sounds like something for children, but children aren't supposed to be there.
yeah, that is interesting. Um, they eventually get cleared to land, and then, they're all walking around. Jod wants to get some information. He also wants to get a room because it's basically a big hotel, which I would not put it past Disney to make that hotel a thing, either at one of their parks or on one of their islands that they own.
If only they had a Star Wars hotel that just failed and needs to be redone.
Exactly. Let's see. So he goes to get a room, and she's like, "Well, what's your reservation?" And he's using the credits from the children's lunch money to get her to look the other way. And it basically, he dumps a lot of money on the table through all these different requests that he has. Um, but then there's a character that walks up to him during this process. It's a woman. I do not know what species. I think it might even be a new species for the show. But she is basically saying to Jod, like, "Hey, I thought you were like Dash Centaur or something like that. It's Dash something. I know that. Um, because Dash Rendar is actually a very famous character in Star Wars lore pre-Disney, but that's not what she said.
Hmm.
Um,
Does Dash mean something then?
Not in particular. It's just a first name.
Oh, okay.
Like if it was Dash Rendar, that's the dude from the Shadows of the Empire video game that came out way back when.
Just wasn't sure if it meant something like how Darth means something.
Oh, I doubt it. Not to my knowledge, anyways. Uh, but what's important from this character is that she is basically insinuating, like, "Hi, you lied to me about your name, just so that you know. I'm also working with bounty hunters nowadays." And that's kind of like a heavy foreshadow of, um, she's probably going to cause some trouble for the group. What's kind of funny about our group,
Yeah, she
too.
said she
Oh, go ahead.
uh she like left a guild or something like that. So they have some like past where yeah, she kind of asked around, she couldn't find him. Yet another alias.
Which he has a ton of. Like the kids even mention, Another name?
Hmm.
What's kind of funny here about the kids, and we learn about this a little bit further down in the episode, is that one of our kids is wearing a pirate hat, and supposedly that is the hat of the captain. If we see like a hologram of the captain later, and he's wearing a hat, it's the same one that Wim is wearing. So that's another reason why it makes me wonder if he was the dead guy on the ship, or if he's somewhere in at Hatton. Um, but where do we go from here? What happens?
Well, we go up to the hotel room, and Judd at this point is panicking, and the kids really don't understand the level of danger. So you've got a leader who's panicking to try to get the crew in sorts, and then just a bunch of children being children. They don't understand what's going on. They're just seeing an exciting, huge hotel room unlike anything they've ever seen before, right? And so they decide to split up. We've got Fern with 33 and KB, or no, it's Fern 33 and who else goes with him? Is it KB? Maybe it's Neil.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure, but Fern and KB or Fern and 33 definitely stick together because 33 won't leave the captain's side. But then we've got Jod and Wim and whichever of the other two kids, because I can't remember who went with who. But we've got our two separate groups, right? We're looking for a very special symbol that will signify where the captain's old hideout was. And uh so I guess sticking with Fern's group for a second, they find we do see Jeremy's character at some point, the one behind him too. It's kind of just like a separate scene to show the spa. I don't think it really has to do anything with the kids, but
Yeah, the spa shows a lot of different species that are, using this facility. And probably my favorite of the bunch was the harpist.
oh, with like the double hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place because there was so much that they were showing us back to back to back. But
That's what I was
so
saying at the beginning. This episode just like it just kept throwing stuff at us. Like there's too much.
yeah. So Fern actually finds the symbol, but there's this weird creature that thinks that she's some sort of attendant or something, and so it seems like kind of like she's in trouble because this creature is like some sort of weird Jabba slash octopus man slash just giant creature. I don't know how to describe it. Something new that I haven't seen before, but something that like the tentacles could sweep a kid out and just totally knock them unconscious if they really wanted to. And so it seems very sketchy and like they need help. And so 33 leaves
Yeah.
to try to go get help.
It was a
So
really interesting design. It's like a cross between like a giant squid and like a walrus. Like it
yeah,
had like a big mustache type whisker upper lip going on.
yeah, he was pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Um,
Just enjoying the spa. Then these kids had to show up and cause a bunch of ruckus,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he ends up
So
helping them out.
we've got Jod's group who they see the workers, the employees kind of chasing them down a bit and being like, "You're not who your reservation's actually for. Like, we're on to you. Something's going on." And so they start chasing them. And eventually they find 33, who's telling them that the captain needs help. So they go see what's going on with her down there. And come to find out she doesn't need any help at all. She's actually made friends with that giant creature. So that's pretty cool. And we do have one little scene while they're running around, I think before they get to Fern, where KB uses her wrench to like release some steam to get the employees off their back so that they have a little bit more time to figure out what they're doing. So that was kind of a nice KB moment there. Um, so we're at the giant creature. They see the symbol in the floor, and the creature, he just uses his tentacle and he just smacks that floor right out, crushes it. I don't know if if he's that powerful, how is his weight not crushing the floor? I don't know. But for whatever reason, he's able to slap the floor and crack that cement so that they can go down in the hidden staircase.
There's a
Nah.
secret tunnel. It takes them down.
What's the tunnel got in it?
I don't even remember exactly.
It's
I
filled with
just remember it
acid.
being like a square tunnel.
So there's this big pool of acid, right? And they
Yep, and
translate what's on the wall, and it has to be
Oh.
the most valuable thing or the most precious what was it, the most precious thing?
yeah, basically, what's the most precious thing to sacrifice? And a lot of people would think life. So like they were thinking about do we have to sacrifice somebody? And then Jod was like, well, he's a pirate, so it's money. And so he throws one of those gold credits into the acid, and then the acid goes away, which lets them continue on. While this is all happening too, we have the woman that talked to Jod about him having the a name that's not recognizable and that she joined the bounty hunters. She actually called in to Brutus and he sent a couple of dudes out to investigate the area. Which I thought the scene when they arrive was great because they arrive. It's the same kind of security clearance, just like our protagonist had to deal with. But as soon as they start talking to the bounty hunter people, the bounty hunter dudes shoot them and just destroy them out of the sky. And I was like, yes, thank you, Disney, for being willing to do something like that. And so they land and then they're basically chasing off to go find our crew. And as our crew, moves ahead through this little area, like they got the acid gone and they go down into the stairs, these bounty hunters are on their tail. And so I think it was a Jod that had the idea to release the the acid back into the room while the bounty hunters were out there. I thought that was pretty gruesome. And I don't know, but the one guy looked like Urkel to me. The like dude in the front of the group that was leading everybody.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention on our rewatch, but
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
look up
so sure.
I'm gonna look up the actor and see if he has a credit for Skeleton Crew. But
Right.
what happens in this room that's pretty significant?
So at this point, we're looking for the captain's notes, right? Something that looks like it doesn't quite belong, something that's a little different. Um, we find I think it's Neil finds there's a table full of food for like a feast, and most of it looks rotten and gross, except for this one particular roast, like a roast beef type thing that looks like pristine. And so one of them kneels on a stool to try to, play with it or lift it or whatever, but it's a trap because as soon as you put pressure on that chair, that is him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. Good spot.
I was like, man, y'all been left by someone that will ask you, did I do that? That would have been hilarious if he would have activated a trap and said that.
That would have been great. But yeah, so even before we got in this room, I think we skipped over the hallway that they went through with the laser that decapitated you if you were an adult. So you got to
Oh, yeah.
watch your footing.
Oh yeah, there's booby traps.
Yeah, so there's booby traps everywhere. So that was one of them. Kneeling on the stool to like t touch the roast beef thing. That was another one because the floor like caved out from under them when they put pressure on the chair, which luckily nobody got hurt. They were able to just pull him back up to safety. But then Jod, because he's an adult, so he was able to reach it without kneeling on the stool. And so what that did was I think it raised something from the floor that was basically like a little pedestal that gave you information. So 33 was able to click into that and figure out all he needed to know.
Yeah, it like revealed a terminal, and then you see kind of like this mask, right? And then it ends up playing a hologram of the captain. So
Of which we don't see his
um
face.
Yeah, we don't see his face. It's a little obscured. We see his hat a little bit, but yeah. And he says something about, I believe he says something about like the last Old Republic mint, like where they're making the credits.
Yep.
So yeah, that's definitely a highly valuable planet thing.
Yeah, so they're insinuating that Atten is the mint, right? So eternal treasure, because you can make as much as you want.
Yeah. So
But
it's
it's interesting
interesting.
to me because supposedly nobody can go in and out of that planet. So what good is that treasure? Like what who are they making that for?
Yeah. It must be a cover up.
Who
We're
are
on
they?
to them.
My guess is who is when you say who are they making it for, it's probably whoever the supervisor is and what connections they have.
Yeah. And then they probably just use all that money to just buy whatever they want.
Like war machines.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
So Jod invokes one of the pirate codes, right? He challenges the captain to a duel to the death to become the new captain. This was pretty crazy. This is where all this whole episode, Fern keeps reminding him, like, remember our deal, remember our deal. You take us to our planet, you get treasure, whatever. And she keeps reminding him. And honestly, I was getting really annoyed with her. Like, can you shut up now? Like, I get it. Like, come on now. But getting to the end of the episode and seeing what happens next, it really made a lot more sense as to why they focused on that so much because he backs out of the deal, right? He just wants the treasure. Screw the kids. I'm a pirate. I don't care. He doesn't necessarily want to hurt them, so he does have a little bit of a conscience, but he will if he has to because, he wants to win.
Yep. And so he holds that knife blade to her throat, the one that because like when they got to the planet, they required them to get rid of all their weapons, but he kept that one and held it up to her throat. But one of the things, like when everybody got to the room, that Wim, sorry, when Wim recognized what was in the room, he saw a little lightsaber on like a plate. It was just sitting there, like that was one of the treasures. And so we can see behind Sarah how that ends up playing out. He grabs the lightsaber, and it's kind of funny. When we were watching the episode, I looked at Sarah and I said, "Bet you it's upside down." And sure enough, he ignited it and scared the crap out of himself and dropped the lightsaber.
I was
Nearly
surprised he didn't
lost
like
some
cut his toes off.
toes. Yeah.
Yeah, that
But yeah, he's has a little honorable moment where he's sticking up for his friend Fern. So
bravery like a true Jedi.
for sure. Even if it doesn't work out for him.
Yeah. So she eventually yields because she's got no other choice. I mean, he's got her at knife point, right? So she's not the captain anymore. Jod used that knife to cut off the restraining bolt on 33, so he's not restricted to not doing any harm anymore, and says to take the kids as prisoner for mutiny. So 33 is like, sorry, kids, like I gotta do what he says. So here we go. And I don't remember who has the quick idea, but all the kids are on the floor next to that trap stool that I was talking about earlier. And
It was
so one of
Wim.
them triggers it. Who?
Wim.
Wim. So Wim triggers the trap, and so they fall through the floor to who knows where. We don't know where that leads. Hopefully not a vat of acid. I know that's what I'd be scared
Or
of. There was
spikes.
Yeah, I was
or
thinking
spikes.
Spikes, like Indiana Jones.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't
I'm
imagine our
thinking
whole
whatever
group.
it is, it won't affect them because they're kids and they're like not gonna weigh enough to like trigger the. We'll see. We'll see.
I can't imagine our whole group of protagonists being gone just like that. Like that. We need something a little more
This
than
is
that.
a pirate show now. Screw the kids.
It was Goonies style until now, and now it's for adults, right?
Yeah,
But I think that wraps up the episode. So Jod's the new captain, 33's following him.
with a
He knows,
lightsaber.
I say there's
Yeah.
one other special thing, like at the very end of the episode, you know, Jod uses the Force to grab that lightsaber and he ignites it the correct way. So,
And
um,
it's blue. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. It's blue.
well,
But is it his?
No,
I say it did have the same sound as the ones from the Acolyte, so I'm glad that they lined that up, that it's, you know, from the uh,
it's
olden
old.
days.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cool. Yep. So, what do you guys think's gonna happen? You think Jod's gonna be in trouble and he's gonna need help, and the kids are gonna have to help him, even though he turned on them, or where do you
Gosh,
think we're
wouldn't that
going
be
with this?
something?
I know I kind of don't want this whole cheesy situation where they have a change of heart and they're best of buddies later on, but
I feel like they're gonna be stowaways on the ship. They're gonna find some sort of way to get back on the ship and just be stowaways. Because even if they're prisoners on the ship, at least they're on the ship home.
Right. Yeah. I guess he's probably gonna find the coordinates here, right? Is that what's gonna happen next, we think, at the end of this tunnel? And then
I
we
thought he
end
already
it
had
back on
them.
at Adin, or maybe he does.
I thought that's what I got from the terminal.
Oh, okay. Maybe that is what they got from the terminal. It wasn't just the message. That would make sense.
'Cause I think that's why Jot's like, all right, I don't need the kids anymore.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
this is also the episode where we were talking about Jod seeing some markings on a wall. That was this one as well,
Oh,
when he was searching around and, you know, trying to find out where the vault was. Uh, so it was, in my opinion, it's not anything crazy like something that a Jedi would need to be used to read or anything like that. But we did get it covered in this episode. I'm curious to see where it goes from here. Like, will Jod actually use this lightsaber? Will we see him, you know, deflecting blaster bolts and stuff like that? Um, with this time period, because they're, you know, in like the Mando time-ish, you know, the Empire has fallen. Luke is one of the only ones that probably people know of being a Jedi, and so, you know, will it be a shock if people see him with a lightsaber?
yeah, it's pretty crazy right now. I feel like we really picked up the pace with this episode, and I appreciate it because there was a lot that went on, but like it made it just that much more exciting, and so I can't wait to see where we go.
Yeah, really fast paced. I love the style of like going through the traps, and the traps, like they're not just one-time things, like they circle back, like the stool and the acid. Um, I don't know, it's just a nice attention to detail. It's nice to see in a TV show.
Yeah, and I also like kind of going along those lines, like with the stool and knowing that that was a getaway. I felt like that wasn't in our face, like it wasn't over explained when they first saw it. Totally made sense. We've been having booby traps this whole time. That could be one. And then, you know, at the end, they use it to get away. Um, I do think it's, well, I mean, they're kids. It's kind of dumb to assume that that would take them somewhere good, but
Right.
we'll have to wait and see where they end up,
Maybe they're in an acid pit. We don't know.
or inches away from one. Did we get any theories of what's going to happen next? I know a couple of the episodes, Austin, you've had some that you were wondering about.
I'm really leaning towards this supervisor being like a pirate, the pirate captain or a pirate of some kind. That's kind of the one I'm really leaning on right now.
so they could keep
How
making
about
their
you
own money.
guys? Yeah,
For me, I feel like I mean, if they're making this a standalone show, I'll be totally fine with that. If there's a connection to what's going on with the other projects, like, the sequel trilogy, I wouldn't be surprised if this is how the like First Order got some of its money. So that's kind of what I'm wondering. Anything from you,
yeah, they
Sarah?
clearly have some kind of operation going on this planet that's benefiting someone.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just more curious how the kids are gonna get out of this because we don't know where they went, really.
That's good. We're attached to them.
And I,
I mean,
and
we always love Neil from episode one, but the rest of them,
Yeah.
we
We all
we
need to
needed
know
to
what
warm up
happened
to
to
him.
Neil.
and I'm not super sure that the bounty hunters is who got hit in that pot or the acid bath. I feel like it was some of the employees from the hotel. I'm not sure that the bounty hunters had enough time to get to the tunnel, whereas the employees were like right behind them.
Some green shirts.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we don't
think it,
see who melts in the acid.
well, at the same time, when I looked up, I guess I haven't spotted him before, but it said that the actor that plays Urkel says he was in 4 episodes.
Oh,
This is the only one I've seen him, but maybe he was in a couple other ones. But my first impression was that it was the bounty hunter people that were kind of no names. Like I don't think it was the girl by any means, but I thought it was the crew.
yeah, it could be.
Because that would, I mean, they could piss off Brutus that his crew was killed, so now he's going to get involved. Or, you know, my stupid crew can't handle some children. I'm just going to get in there and do it myself, and then brings him out.
Yeah, we just know there's a bounty out on those kids. We don't know who that's gonna bring in, how many people are after that bounty. Um, but yeah, I imagine Brutus eventually is gonna say, "Fine, I'll do it myself," and then get involved. But you never know. Well, I don't know what the budget's looking like for a Brutus action scene.
Did
So
did Jod destroy the information tower thing? The terminal? He did, didn't he?
I do not remember.
I can't remember that part either. I'd have
I
to go back
feel
and
like he
watch
did.
it.
That way somebody else couldn't get the coordinates after him. And that could have been why
I
he
know
picked
he
up the
did that at the
lightsaber.
owl place, but I don't know about if he did it again here, but maybe. Can go back and try and look, but
Yeah, I think it would have been like the very last scene
Well, the
when he
very
picked up
last
the lightsaber.
scene, he was in the treasure room.
Right, but that's where the terminal was. Because how they got the hologram of the captain was from that terminal.
Right.
so like right before he grabs the lightsaber, you're saying?
Or right after, like if you use the lightsaber to cut the terminal.
Well, when he grabs the lightsaber, it cuts.
Oh,
Because like the igniting of it was off camera. Like it went blank and you could hear the igniting of the lightsaber.
oh, I gotcha. Okay. I'm not sure then.
So
But I feel like that would be a smart move.
say maybe we'll see in the next episode what he does after he ignites the lightsaber. Maybe he slices it.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want people following him. We already know that. Um, but yeah, I'm sure they're gonna find some way to track him or the kids back to the planet to add in. Surely that's where we're going.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I just feel it deep in my bones that we're gonna get the Neil cannon moment where he's gonna get the big ground to air cannon and take out some big old ship that's about to blow up their whole neighborhood.
But
Can't
can
wait
you
for it.
but can you feel in your bones whether a sandstorm is coming?
I cannot.
That was from episode one, the Phantom Menace, when she was like, "My bones are aching. You gotta get home quick."
No.
All right. Well, I think we're still all super on board with the show. Looking forward to seeing how it wraps up. I mean, we're heading towards a finale, right? Is it going to be a 3 episode arc? Is it going to be a 2 episode arc? I'm kind of hoping it's three, but I think two would be just fine as well, based on the pacing of the show. Um, but I think what we need is to, one, get back to the planet, two, get the parents involved, and then three, find out who this supervisor is. Because if we don't know who that is by the end of the season, I think that's gonna be kind of disappointing. But maybe it's like um, Squid Games, where we don't know who all these people are. They're faceless. Um, but we'll have to find out. So that was our talk on episode 5 of the Skeleton Crew. We look forward to number 6 this week. Again, it's on a big night, so to speak. Like I know for us, 9 o'clock on New Year's Eve, we're usually uh, over at my family's house playing games, so we probably won't see the episode until we get home. But maybe many others will uh, catch it when it releases. But looking forward to it. So. If you enjoy this type of video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Drop us a like if you like the video and drop us a comment letting us know your thoughts on episode 5. And then, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.